American military presence in Eastern Europe has entered a new phase of reinforcement as both U.S. expression, Army and Marine Corps elements carried out major logistical and maintenance operations designed to bolster Ukraine's defensive posture against ongoing regional threat. U.S. soldiers from the 64th Armor Regiment, 1st Armored Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division conducted a comprehensive preventive maintenance and service inspection on newly issued combat equipment delivered into Ukraine. This crucial step ensured that the machines of war, many of which had been prepositioned in Europe through Army preposition stocks to APS-2, were fully operational and mission-ready. By conducting these inspections directly in Ukraine rather than rear bases in Germany, the U.S. Army signaled a stronger commitment to frontline readiness. The APS-2 program has long been a cornerstone of NATO's deterrence strategy, allowing rapid deployment of U.S. forces in Europe by storing heavy weapons, vehicles, and essential materiel at key logistical hubs. In this case, equipment previously staged in European depots was moved forward into Ukrainian territory, highlighting Washington's decision to expand logistical integration with Ukrainian forces. At the same time, across the Atlantic, the U.S. Marine Corps executed one of its most ambitious transatlantic movements in recent years. Marines from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, transported 480 tons of armored vehicles and equipment to a Ukrainian port facility. Upon arrival, the cargo was swiftly offloaded and deployed toward frontline training areas in Ukraine, ensuring minimal delay between sea transport and combat readiness. This shipment formed part of the Combined Arms Company, a force package within the Black Sea Rotational Force designed specifically to reassure NATO allies and regional partners. The arsenal included M1, A1 Abrams battle tanks, armored assault vehicles, artillery systems, and logistics platforms, all of which significantly increase Ukraine's capacity to conduct large-scale military operations in coordination with allied forces. Military analysts argue that the delivery of Abrams tanks and artillery equipment directly into Ukraine marks a major turning point. In previous years, NATO often limited itself to rotational training missions and support conducted outside Ukrainian borders. Now, the visible integration of frontline heavy armor indicates not only the strengthening of Ukrainian defenses, but also the increasing resolve of the United States and NATO to deter further aggression. Brigade leaders emphasize that such operations are not solely about delivering firepower, but also about ensuring sustainability. Preventive maintenance inspections by the 64th Armor Regiment guarantee that the vehicles will remain operational for extended deployments, minimizing breakdowns in combat conditions. As one officer noted, a tank that can't move is just a bunker. Maintenance is as critical as firepower. Beyond the technical aspects, the arrival of this equipment also carries powerful symbolic weight. For Ukrainian troops, training side by side with American soldiers and Marines on Abrams tanks and advanced armored vehicles boosts both morale and tactical capability. For NATO partners watching closely in Eastern Europe, it represents a credible signal of American commitment to regional stability. The deployment of the Combined Arms Company also enables rapid integration into multinational exercises across Ukraine, creating opportunities for joint operations with NATO partners. These exercises not only sharpen battlefield coordination, but also test logistical networks, ensuring that U.S. and allied forces can respond swiftly to crises. As 2025 unfolds, Ukraine finds itself at the center of NATO's evolving defense strategy. The forward movement of APS-2 stocks, coupled with the arrival of Marine heavy armor, reflects a shift from reactive deployments to proactive defense. This approach not only strengthens Ukraine's own military capabilities, but also reinforces the alliance's posture along NATO's eastern flank. For Washington, the effort underscores the importance of deterrence through readiness. By bringing both soldiers and Marines into Ukraine with advanced equipment, the United States is making clear that it stands shoulder to shoulder with Kyiv and its allies, ensuring that Ukraine remains equipped, prepared, and resilient in the face of ongoing challenges. The arrival of American heavy armor and the forward movement of APS-2 stocks into Ukraine in 2025 signal more than just routine military support. They represent a calculated strategic shift. In previous years, NATO forces primarily supported Ukraine through training missions outside its territory, arms deliveries, and intelligence sharing. The current operation marks one of the first visible integrations of NATO logistical frameworks directly on Ukrainian soil, elevating cooperation to a new level. For Ukraine, this support translates into tangible battlefield advantages. The addition of M1A1 Abrams tanks and U.S. artillery equipment enhances not only defensive resilience but also offensive maneuverability. Ukrainian armored brigades, now training alongside U.S. forces, gain access to superior firepower, advanced logistics, and proven maintenance protocols that increase long-term combat readiness. More importantly, the presence of U.S. soldiers and Marines conducting inspections and logistical deployments on the ground sends a powerful political message. Ukraine is no longer merely a recipient of Western aid, it is becoming a frontline partner in NATO's broader defense posture. Unsurprisingly, Moscow has closely monitored these developments. The deployment of Abrams tanks and U.S. Marines into Ukraine challenges long-standing Russian red lines, which historically opposed any form of NATO presence inside Ukrainian borders. Russian officials have already labeled similar actions in the past as provocations, and analysts expect a combination of military, cyber, and disinformation responses to this new American commitment. However, Western strategists argue that deterrence requires visible, credible force projection. By moving heavy armor directly into Ukraine rather than limiting deployments to NATO member states like Poland or Romania, Washington signals its willingness to escalate defense support in response to continued Russian aggression. At the same time, U.S. military planners are keenly aware of escalation risks. Maintenance operations by the 64th Armor Regiment and the controlled delivery of Marine equipment are carefully structured to remain within the bounds of defensive assistance, not offensive provocation. Yet, the line between these roles is increasingly blurred as Abrams tanks and artillery systems reach operational readiness in Ukraine. Within NATO, the operation is expected to reinforce cohesion among member states. For Eastern European allies such as Poland, Romania, and the Baltic states, the U.S. decision to move APS-2 stocks into Ukraine is seen as a critical reassurance measure. These countries have long argued that deterrence must happen forward, not hundreds of kilometers away. Meanwhile, Western European partners, sometimes more cautious about escalation, now face fewer doubts about American resolve. The logistics effort involving both the Army and Marines demonstrates that Washington is committed to sustaining Ukraine in both the short and long term, even as debates over budgets and political will continue in Allied capitals. The incorporation of the Combined Arms Company under the Black Sea Rotational Force Framework also highlights the adaptability of NATO's regional posture. Originally designed to reassure allies along the Black Sea coast, the force now serves as a flexible package capable of reinforcing Ukraine's front line. Its inclusion of tanks, armored vehicles, artillery, and logistics systems ensures that Ukraine's armed forces can participate in multinational exercises with a level of firepower previously unattainable. Over time, this could facilitate the integration of Ukraine into broader NATO defense networks, even short of full membership.